Oscar on the Grand Ole Opry. Also, was the only guy ever, the only time it ever happened when Bill Monroe didn't show up, couldn't do the Opry, he had Terry come play his mandolin that night. Now, they never asked him to do it again, but they asked him to do it that one time. He also has worked with Miss Dolly Parton. One of my favorite forms of the Osborne Brothers. He worked with them for 10 years, and one of my favorites right there. Larry Cordell, Lonesome Standard Time. He was Larry. And he's a founding member of the Graskels, and now these days he's working with the Farmhands and the No Joke Jimmies. He's my best friend on this planet. Terry Eldridge, everybody.
Thank you, folks. Thanks, Mom, Dad.
Do this song for Sticks.
Johnny lived next door to me. Paul lived down the block. Thank you. We'd meet each day at my house sharp at 6 o'clock. We'd race our bikes to school. Paul would always win. Johnny said that's 'cause we're 9 and Paul, he just turned 10. First day of high school, on the way to my first class, 3 football players said they wouldn't let me pass. Well, I set my books down and I rolled up my sleeves, and then I noticed there were 2 boys next to me. It was me and John and Paul, the best friends you ever saw. All for one and one for all. It was me and John and Paul. I wonder why they call it graduation day. More like a funeral for youth that passed away. Paul said he's leaving for the army in 2 weeks. John said let's go to town and make some memories. It was me and John and Paul, the best friends you ever saw. All for one and one for all. It was me and John and Paul. And Ringo and George. Years later, I heard Paul came back from the Gulf War. So I flew up from Tennessee to visit him once more. It didn't shock me none to hear that he'd been brave. He'd lost his own life, but another one he'd saved. I waited by a tree till everyone had left, and I went up to say a prayer when my pals slept. And then I heard a voice I hadn't heard in years. I didn't need to turn around, I knew just who was there. It was me and John and Paul, the best friends you ever saw. All for one and one for all. It was me and John and Paul. It was me and John and Paul, the best friends you ever saw. All for one and one for all. It was me and John and Paul.